There are no limits to what we can achieve in life except what we believe we can't. We are a product of our beliefs. They define what we can or what we can't do, and they're often so ingrained in our minds that we fail to see the bigger picture. However, limiting beliefs actually prevent us from taking action towards our dreams or our goals. The good news though, guys, is that we can stop them. In this video, we're gonna go over some strategies to overcome limiting beliefs and how making that shift will help you create the life you've always dreamed of. Here's the thing with limiting beliefs, guys. They are often so ingrained in our thought patterns that they become invisible to us. It's almost like being a fish in the ocean, asking for water. It sounds absolutely silly, right? They're in the water, but it is so much a part of them that it's almost invisible to them. So for us, limiting beliefs often appear to be just life, just us, just the way things are. So making it really hard to identify. And you see, guys, once a belief is in place, we tend to seek out information that confirms it and ignore evidence that contradicts it. It's the way our brain is wired. This is because a limiting belief may seem like an absolute truth, an unchangeable aspect of reality to the person who holds that belief. So we create then a self-reinforcing cycle, making it difficult to recognize these beliefs as limiting. They just are our beliefs. They are the way things are. They are the way you are. Plus, guys, some beliefs are tied to deep emotional experiences, making them feel like an integral part of our identity. So challenging them can feel threatening, almost as if we're losing a part of ourselves. So for example, growing up, I always got sick. And when I got sick, I usually ended up in the hospital. So I formed this belief system that this is just the way I am. It was always gonna be like this for me in life. And I would reaffirm it with my words by saying things like, I have a weak immune system. I always end up in the hospital. I'm always getting sick. If anyone around me is sick, then I'll get it. Oh, first, cancel. I'm gonna clear those things out because I just spoke them and I don't wanna create that in my life. But you see, reflecting back, guys, I was careless with my words. Not because I was choosing to be careless and I wanted to experience that, I just didn't know any better. And I fully believed that that was me based off of the experiences that I had. And since things were that way in my life, I thought they would always remain that way, right? Isn't that the way it works? Well, I thought so. And this was a strong belief and identity of me that, of course, as I grew, it continued to grow with me. So it's to no surprise that as an adult, I continued to get sick. I, of course, always ended up in the hospitals, and doctors told me I would never get better, that there is nothing we can do. Guys, this was such a strong limiting belief from childhood that I continued to create these experiences in my adult life. And it was affirmed to me by others, by my outside experiences. And if you're going through a health challenge, you know what I'm talking about. It becomes part of your identity because anything that takes our time and attention, it becomes part of us, good or bad. So maybe for you, it's not a health issue. I hope not. Maybe for you, you have a limiting belief like, you're terrible at public speaking. Maybe you had an experience in life where it went bad and you felt it in your body. Maybe you don't even remember that experience consciously, but subconsciously it planted a seed in your mind. And maybe at some point it was affirmed by others outside of you. So therefore you avoided it, you never practiced, and you just identified with this limiting belief that you cannot speak in public. And yet, guys, you can. You can change anything you put time and attention on. We can get good at anything we practice. So maybe you're probably thinking now, okay, well, practicing public speaking is completely different than getting good at being healthy. This is who I've always been. It's not a curable disease. You don't understand. I've always been this way my whole life. Trust me, guys, I get it. I've said those. I believed those. Those have been a limiting belief of mine. And if you are saying that right now, I can tell you it is a limiting belief for you. Here's the thing, guys. When you change, everything changes. Your personality, your personal reality, and even your biology. So how do we begin to identify the limiting beliefs? As we know, they can be ingrained into us, part of us, and therefore a little bit tricky to identify. But not to worry, guys, we're here to do the impossible, right? To make things possible in our life and to bring it into our consciousness so it can change. So the best way I've found to extract the limiting belief is to focus on a goal. So I want you to start with focusing on one goal. But with this process, you can of course do this over and over and over. So let's say that your goal is to get healthy. Amazing goal, love it. Okay, so now what is the story that you have been telling yourself around this goal? So it might be something like the doctors say, it's not possible. I don't know how. I've tried everything. You don't understand. I've always been like this. This is who I am. I get it, guys. Again, I've used these. So just write it down. Get really, really, really clear. So step 1, write down your clear goal. Step 2, write down everything you tell yourself about this goal. And I mean everything. Keep asking yourself why. Why do I think that? Why? Dig deep, 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 deep inside of you, okay? You've got to get really conscious of your subconscious thoughts, the thoughts that you're having surrounding this goal, okay? Step 3. Once you have everything written down, you need to really ask yourself if this belief or story is aligned to actually achieving your goal. This is going to help begin to identify the limiting beliefs you have about this goal in your life. And I promise you, if you do not get rid of these, consciously or subconsciously, they will self-sabotage you and you will not achieve your goal. How do I know this? Because I've done this over and over and over again, okay, guys? You've got to get to the root belief in your belief system. And you do this by digging, guys. So you see, beliefs are just stories that we have told ourselves over and over again, or stories that the world has told us over and over again, or people in our life have told us over and over again. But when we pull those stories out, when we change our perspective, our story changes, and therefore our belief change. Our beliefs about the situation change, and then the situation in your life will change too. Promise you guys. So I'll give you guys another example. So I was very scared to make this course seriously, okay? So like anything we do when we're scared, we avoid it. And so I avoided this for a while. So my boyfriend asked me one day, why? And I had to say immediately everything that came to my mind. And the first thing out of my mouth was, well, if I work so hard at this, what if I get sick again? And then as soon as I said this, I paused and was like, wait, what? I can't even believe I just said that. I wasn't even conscious of this thought. It was just something that came out, but somewhere inside of me, it was a belief, a limiting belief. I also said things like I was scared of being on camera, scared of being judged, all the normal ego things that come to mind. So I did this activity that I'm encouraging you to do now. I wrote down all of it, everything that came up. Why, Caitlin? Why? What else? Where did that come from? Why? And I digged, guys. And I realized that this belief system that I have around this is going to lead to horrible self-sabotage. Even if I make the course, somewhere, somehow, I am going to not get it out. I'm going to self-sabotage, because that's what happens when you have limiting beliefs. You hit glass ceilings. They're there to protect you from something that's not even real. So I started to look at the beliefs then, step 4. And I realized that some of the things I was telling myself, they weren't even my words. They were things my ex told me, things a doctor told me, things that a friend said to me. All of these other people's beliefs somehow got planted in my mind, and they were all limiting beliefs stopping me from achieving my goal of helping other people heal. So the same thing happened when I got clear on getting well. So I did this thing, right, guys? I challenged it. I digged in to see what were those beliefs. And there were so many things that were crazy, guys, but they were limiting beliefs I had to get rid of, that I had to reprogram so that I could get healthy. Things that you've got to get rid of so that you can get healthy, so that you can achieve your own dreams. So Byron Katie has a really cool activity that I also like to just practice. Another thing to just slap on to just knock out those limiting beliefs, okay? So you ask yourself 4 different questions. So question 1, when something comes up, is this true? Question 2, can you be certain? Do you absolutely know that it is true? Number 3, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? And number 4, guys,
who would you be without that thought? So I absolutely love this. So let's talk about this in terms of health, okay? So is it true you can't get better? Maybe you're saying right now, yes. Okay, so number 2, can you be absolutely certain? Can you know this for sure? I don't know, think about it. Other people have gotten better, haven't they? Aren't there miracles every day? Aren't there radical remissions, spontaneous healings? Yeah, there are. So can you actually be true for certain? I don't know, guys, challenging that belief right now. And how do you react when you think about that? Pretty terrible, right? When you have that thought that you can't get well, that's a terrible feeling. That's a terrible thought to have. You're probably a victim, less empowered, limited, stuck, hopeless, all of these things, depressed. I don't know, those are just the thoughts that I had. And then guys, question 4, who would you be without that thought? Well, if you didn't have that belief, that thought, you'd be healthy. So boom, guys, limiting belief uncovered, right? So guys, use this, and you can use this all the time. Like just when you're speaking, I will say this to my mom. She'll say something to me like, I can't do that. Mom, is that true? Can you be certain about that? And usually we get to number 2 and we're like, oh my God, that's funny. That's actually not even true. Wow, removing that, reprogramming that. But somehow it's a belief that it was planted inside of you that you have to uncover. You have to become conscious of it. You have to get through all that invisible water around you and realize it's water. Realize that someone planted a seed and you have to say, I don't want that to grow. You're digging up the soil. You are uncovering it so you can plant a new seed, guys. So that's what we're gonna do next. So first, you dig deep inside of you. Find those seeds that were buried, that are buried. Ask the questions. Question it to yourself. Challenge it. Think about who you'll be without it. And then decide, do I want this to grow in my life? And if not, that is a limiting belief. And I'm gonna pull it out, pluck it up, and I'm gonna make room to plant new seeds. Do positive thoughts, positive beliefs in your life that are going to help you achieve your goals. Please, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe because there's so much more content coming. Mwah. Love you guys.